Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena and today we are talking about twin flame sexual healing. We're trying something a little bit different for this video. If you guys can't already feel it, let me know. We're only 22 seconds in, but let me know if you can feel it. This is kind of what I've been feeling called to do. You know, for a long time I batched my content, so I was making a couple videos at a time, where now I'm feeling like a pull to be a little bit more slow and really kind of invite you into my space. So sometimes maybe that will be with a candle, maybe that will be with a cup of tea, maybe that will be with some sage or some Palo Santo. I don't really know. I don't have the full scope of what this is going to look like yet, but I'm feeling called to make videos from this more feminine place rather than this more masculine, get it done kind of place. So bear with me on this video. This is the first time I'm kind of really, experimenting with this energy and what that will look like. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think about it? How do you like it? How do you like the tone of the videos? How do you like the tempo of the videos? All of that kind of stuff. So, before we get into the video today, this is from my perspective. So, talking about sexual trauma and sexual healing, this is a very intense and kind of touchy subject for a lot of people. And if you have had sexual trauma in your history, just know that what I'm talking about is just from my own perspective. It's definitely, I would say, on the lighter end of things. I'm one person that believes, trauma is trauma, but my trauma is definitely more generational, more ancestral, more lifetimes oriented rather than in this specific lifetime. So keep that in mind for people that have had sexual trauma in this physical lifetime. The way I might speak about this is going to be different than probably how it feels for you or how you might speak about it. So I wanted to make this video for a long time. If you guys don't know, I was in an open relationship in my karmic relationship, and that stemmed from wounds with my father growing up, and his infidelity towards my mother. So the reason I want to talk about sexual healing is because when I entered my twin flame relationship, I had thought I had done so much sexual healing in my karmic relationship, but really what I was exploring was my edges. And full disclosure, in my karmic relationship, I did things like visit sex clubs. I was in an open relationship. I was with more than one partner at once. I explored, my sexuality in terms of being with women, all of these kinds of things that were really my edge. For some people that is their normal day-to-day lives, and that's totally cool. There's no judgment here, because obviously I've explored that and I understand the communities around it. I understand a lot of the perspectives. And it really took that for me, because exploring our sexuality is such an important part of relationship, right? It's not the only part of relationship, but it's an important part of relationship. And so for me, in that relationship, I was really exploring my edges, how dynamic sexuality is and sexual energy. And, by exploring my edges, and if you're highly sensitive, you'll know this, or if you've been on any kind of a healing journey, you'll know this. If you're out on your edge for too long, what happens is, if you spend so much time on your edge, a lot of fear gets, built into your systems, or a lot of anxiety gets built into your system. So if you're really on your edge, your nervous system is probably out of whack. You're probably running on adrenaline, all of that kind of stuff. So it takes time to go out to your edge and come back, and go out and come back. And during this relationship, I was out on my edge the entire time. And so I had a lot of trauma when I was starting my twin flame relationship around sex and sexuality. And a lot of this stemmed from my father growing up, I think we're still exploring our like familial shadows in this way. I don't know that we've really uncovered everything, but also for me, a lot of it has to do with past lifetimes. So I had a past life vision when I first met my twin of a lifetime where I was a mermaid and he was a sailor. And I was swimming in the ocean and was caught by this group of people. And what ended up happening was, they kind of took my life from me. This feminine energy, it was all these men upon this ship, and they decided, it'd be a cool thing to capture a mermaid. And so I was captured. My twin was one of them. He wasn't responsible for the capturing, but he was a part of it. And he was kind of like, if you picture the guy that, comes down to the hull of the boat and visits you, and, he doesn't really agree with what's going on, but he won't stand out against it because he knows what will happen to him. So that was a lot of trauma. We had to go through a lot of trust issues with my twin, from this place. And then also, I had a past lifetime where um, I was a prostitute. And so this didn't have to do with my twin at all, but this was one of my own past lifetimes where, I can still see the image so clearly, like my bed lined up in a row of other beds, like single beds. And so this was an incredibly traumatic lifetime where my body was used. It was used for control, all that kind of stuff. So I had a lot that started coming up when I met my twin around desire, control, fear of exploring, all of these things, like this big culmination. And I had read somewhere previous to entering union, this is sometime during the separation stage, that when twin flames have sex, they are ultimately, not only healing themselves, but also healing the collective. And so my thought process was, wow, okay, so we should be having sex more often, right, to heal this. And I kept having blockages that would come up, and every time we would have sex, I would end up crying as a release of, whatever was going on at that time. It was every time it would be something different. Then, we went through a period of time where I didn't really even want to be close with my partner. I didn't even want to have sex, but I kind of pushed myself to anyways, because it was like, I want to conquer this wound, right? This wound, this fear of men, the fear of the masculine, and this feeling of, if I follow my natural rhythms of desire, what had happened to me previously in my life was that, my mother was cheated on because she wasn't providing that for my father. In my open relationship, it was kind of the same idea. My partner always likened it to, would you want to eat the same meal every single night, right? And so likened me to like a steak, and then sometimes I want fried chicken, like that type of a thing, which is such a, wounded masculine way to look at things and to look at partnership. And like, do not worry, I am all for, open relationships when they're done with intention. I think you can just as unintentionally participate in monogamy as you can unintentionally participate in open relationships and polyamory. So this is something I have, kind of thought about a lot in terms of my own life and how I want to live and what feels right for me. So if you have more questions on that, definitely comment below, or, send me a DM on Instagram, or just, find me somewhere. You can always email me as well. So getting back into that, there was a lot that was coming up for me. And to be honest, it wasn't until I had Claire that I realized I kept picking the same wound over and over and over again, because I was like, I just want to be over this. I just want to be healed. And I lacked the foresight to see that sometimes in order to heal, you have to stop picking the scab, right? You have to stop playing with the thing that's hurting you. This comes up a lot for people with their family dynamics, right? Like, if you were raised with a family who doesn't understand you, who doesn't see you, who doesn't agree with you or your lifestyle, you will also understand that sometimes you have to cut them off, you have to block them, you have to move away from them in order for you to heal that part of yourself. And so this is how it was for me with my sexuality. So I had Claire, And then, you know, our 6-week appointment came, which everyone knows the big 6-week appointment is where you get to find out, can you have sex again? And so that came and went. And I remember being so anxious because I was thinking, James was thinking, when is this going to happen? When are we going to have sex? What's going to go on? And, you know, he would make little comments here and there. And I got so bent out of shape with myself in terms of feeling just like I have to provide this for him, you know, or I'm not doing my womanly duties. And that's just absolutely not true, right? What I learned from this process is we went 4 months without having sex at all. And that was enough time for me to stop picking my own wounds and for me to really, you know, come back into myself and for me to reignite my own desire, right? And not come to the table with sex. And I think a lot of us do this. It's a control mechanism, right? We want to control our partners, or if you're empathetic like me, you want to feel connected to your partner. And so you use this means, this sexual means of controlling or being connected with your partner in a way that's actually unhealthy, in a way that actually isn't in your highest, you know? And I really was able to learn the difference between the desire to connect with my partner from a pure place and the desire to connect via I'm feeling insecure, or I'm feeling like I'm gonna lose you, or I feel like I need to control you, or I want to feel more connected to you and I don't know how to ask for that other than having sex. And so this has been a really incredible healing for me. And so if there's other twins out there that are dealing with this same thing and feeling like, you know, there's so much around twin flames and sex. And I think part of this is because we're so attracted to our twin flames, you know, and we're so attracted to our twin flames. So we instantly think, oh, they've got to be having incredible sex. They've got to be having sex all the time. But we forget the contrast, right? And it's like art. When you look at art and you have negative space, and think of the abstinence as negative space, right? So you have these beautiful connections. And a lot of people will be this way when they come off a previous relationship, right? So you compare your experiences with this person to the previous person. And sometimes you need a space and time for you to just forget what all of that was, for you to forget what it's like, right? And so there's such a buzz around twin flame and sexuality, and people want to know, like, oh, is it the most amazing thing ever? Are you having incredible sex? And it's like, it's so much more than that. You know, the experience with your twin is so much more than that, than like the taboo of sex. It really is about this deeper healing and about like being there for your partner and experiencing them in their totality, and through that being able to also experiencing yourself in your own totality. And sometimes that means taking a break from it and stepping back from it for a while, and just allowing that dust to settle, allowing those wounds to crust over, to scab, to scar, before you can come back to it and see it in a whole new way. So I hope this video helped you. Again, let me know what you think of the format of the, you know, kind of more calmer, more feminine-led vibes. I would love to know what that feels like for you guys. You know, it's not a typical space, and it might be, to me, feel like a really big difference, but to you guys it's a very subtle difference. So some perspective here would be really helpful. So let me know what you think. If you have more questions or you're looking to book a one-on-one, you can check the links below. Also, just so you guys know, my free ebook, Breaking Karmic Ties, is available. Unfortunately, the free bonus incentive of the cord cutting meditation is no longer available, but what I probably will do is create that as a product that you can purchase, like on my website. So we'll see how we're gonna tie all that together. But if you're looking for more information on breaking off these energetic ties, and a lot of times those are sexual ties too, definitely check out the ebook. Yeah, it's my gift to you. It's part of a larger 7-part series of like the 7 steps to union that I'm going to be coming out with. This is also a program and a process that I take all of my clients through. So yeah, it's just one of those things that without this resource, I don't even know where I would be. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support. If there's anything there's anything else you need, you know where to find me, and we'll catch you in the next video. Big love, Serena.